As the owner of a pair of your skis.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
They're amazing. Love them. But also, really excited to talk about what Mountains on the Moon, what the project has been like, all the growth from Fire on the Mountain, to here. And just also, stuff about the Dead, ye old Grateful Dead as well. That's kind of the focus of what I want to chat about today. Let's hear about the project. It's going to be Fire on the Mountain was amazing. It was iconic. I think hearing Bill Walton narrate a ski film was one of the coolest things ever. Genuinely ever.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm stoked to learn more.
That's a very broad question.
I know. Would love to learn more though about where did the idea for Mountains of the Moon, like another Dead film, come from? Obviously, it piggybacks on the success of Fire on the Mountain. Just kind of want to hear what that next step really looked like in terms of getting to building out this project.
Yeah, I'd say it's a culmination of everything, but it's much less about piggybacking off the success and much more about communicating what can't be said with artwork. It's just creating film is another medium for me to be able to express myself. And my skiing is a way I express myself. My art is a way I express myself. Music is a deep passion of mine. I suck at playing guitar, but it's another art form for expressing myself. So when I created Fire on the Mountain, it was so authentically me and the things I love, the sports I love, the music I love, and the natural world, and kind of writing these environments. And so I think it's important to know that film, it kind of chose me, I guess, for as woo as that might sound, for lack of a better word. It's like the opportunity to create a ski with the Grateful Dead came across my desk. Then I, being the person I am, love their music, and I make ski films and I make my own skis. And so it was just me seeing opportunity to create something bigger than me that was super inspiring. And so I just kept pulling on these threads, seeing where it would lead me. And ultimately, those relationships that I built, going to what you said about Bill Walton, it just led me down this path where I started talking to management over at the Grateful Dead and kind of pitched this whole concept. I was like, I don't want to just create a ski. I would rather create a ski that, I guess if we're creating a functional piece of art, I want to ski on the ski and create something beautiful with the ski that we're creating as a simple terms. And then those simple terms turned into a whole film, as you saw. And then that whole film needed a voice, and that voice needed to represent sport and represent music. And that voice was Bill Walton. And me being able to get to Bill Walton was just the universe doing its magic. I had done a road bike ride with him years prior. So I kind of had an email because I helped. He didn't remember me, or I didn't expect him to remember me, but I was one of many that helped him do a 100-mile ride in Mammoth. He was really into road biking. And so I was like a support crew, if you will. And so I just cold emailed him, sent him this whole thing. He deleted it because he didn't recognize my name or anything. But then his assistant happened to have my skis, similar to yourself, I guess. And so his assistant brought it back out of his deleted folder, told him to reread it. So then he called Mark Pincus, who's the president of Rhino Record, who at that point I had been communicating with. And then he also called David Lemieux, who's the legacy manager, and so on and so forth, just to see if I was legitimately doing something with the Grateful Dead. At that point, they had seen the footage I'd created in Mammoth, and they were obviously doing the ski with me. So they were like, yep, he's legit. And so I just got a random phone call from Bill that turned into an hour to 2-hour conversation about passion and life and sport and all the things. We built a beautiful friendship, and that kept evolving. And then my friendship with him led me down the road of meeting more and more people tied to the Grateful Dead family, if you will. And once again, just like that project, I just kept pulling on these threads and seeing these opportunities to express myself. And that film left so much on the table that I was very aware that I wanted to, like, ever since that one ended, I was like, okay, I need to do this bigger and better. We learned so much. We have so many more people and resources. And so it was a matter of building towards that. But then my wife got cancer and I had children, and there was like so much life happened.
Yeah,
but I
life.
chipping away towards this bigger concept. This project, Mountains of the Moon, really is like my opus, if you will, or just it's an extension of me and my existence in this life. So it has everything that inspires me, and it has a piece of me sprinkled throughout the entire project. So
That's incredible. There's a ton to unpack there. The night scenes in Fire on the Mountain obviously are incredible, an incredible part of the overall film, and super innovative when it comes to thinking about, ski films too. Mountains of the Moon, at least to my understanding, is all at night, right? So, did you want to kind of just really, like, why did you want to go all in on the night visuals? Because in addition to it just looking super cool, that obviously has a ton of challenges. It's not the easiest thing to do,
Totally. And 100%. The Fire on the Mountain came from, I was part of Afterglow with Sweetgrass. And so that opened my mind as an artist and as a creative of like what's actually possible. Because I didn't understand light, and I don't know a lot of people in Hollywood lighting scene. And Sweetgrass did a good job piecing those people together. And then, of course, I built relationships with these people. And then in the back of my mind, that happened, 2013 or something. And I'm like, I will do something at night again. And then the ski came across my desk, and then I'm like, oh, skeletons. I should create a skeleton light suit. And the skeletons are so much deeper too, from artistically. Like I paint skeletons all the time, which represent people at their core, stripped of all of our differences. And I think they speak to the concept of revealing what lies beneath the surface, and everything that we overlook generally. So they're representing life and death and the inevitability of death, I should say, and all the people I've lost to the mountain. So there's really deep concepts in my work already. And then to your question, the nighttime is about capturing light and shadows and contrast, and you're creating these moments that can't be replicated. So I'm painting these landscapes with light, but I don't know how to operate lights. So I am looking at inspirational colors that I use in my paintings and gradients and different things, and then working with people that I've pieced together throughout my life to make this thing happen. So I'm getting the best lighting specialists, I'm getting the best camera operators, I'm getting the best athletes, and I'm creating this art piece, really. And so nighttime is about seeing the familiar in the unfamiliar. Like we all spend every day, or not we all, but I personally have spent a vast majority of my life in these natural landscapes. And you do that at night and you're completely flipping it on its head, and you're able to highlight just textures in the snow become a piece of art. Whereas those could be in a north facing slope that you would never otherwise see. Like the sun doesn't always see what you can see with a light. And so being able to control the sun as an action sports filmmaker, or whatever you want to call me at this point, but being able to control the sun and, like I said, paint these landscapes is art in itself. And then you take the athletes, which are the brushstrokes of the painting, and they're doing what they do best. And I'm part of that too. Obviously, I ski as well. So it's taking all of those concepts and all of those things to kind of create a portal into the unseen world.
The interesting thing about that too, when you tie it back to the Grateful Dead, is how visually complementary to the experience of the music is, and also the heritage of the art and culture in that world is as well. It's kind of an evolution to the natural world that the Dead has always it's been a part of their music since, for 60 years now, where there's kind of the tie back to a natural environment, yet there's also lights and it's a production, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's on a very grand scale too,
Mm-hmm.
What was it like whenever some of the scenes for Fire on the Mountain showed up in the Sphere visuals? I have to imagine that, of course, knew about it ahead of time, but like seeing it in these ski films, you watch them maybe if you're lucky on a really good screen, but on that screen,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like the
pretty
coolest place
unbelievable.
to experience it, you know?
Yeah, that had a lot of intention as well. So backtrack back to the other project. I build this relationship with Bill. We have all of these. How the hell did we make Fire on the Mountain? All these questions, these interviews, these opportunities. And I'm like, COVID happens. I'm like, huh, maybe we should make a behind the scenes of like how we made this. So we go, I get in touch with Bill, we go to his house, we do the thing, and then he brought Mickey into the picture because him and Mickey were best friends, and Mickey was a huge fan of what we did for Fire on the Mountain. Like he came to my world premiere in New York, and he just he's an artist himself, and he was always the one that appreciated it the most, I would say, because he's very out there with his thinking, very similar to me, I would say. And then so we made this thing for ESPN. I want to say that was 2022, I guess, 21, 22. And then 2023, the Dead announced their final tour. Dead and Co. announced their final tour. And Mickey hit me up and said, I would like to use footage from the night's stuff. Or first he said, do you have any footage that I haven't seen? Because I want, for Drums in Space, I want to use some night footage. And I was like, I don't have footage that you haven't seen, but I am planning on turning the lights back on. I've been working towards, because at 2020, whenever we talked, 2022, I was already working towards doing this thing. So I was like, I'm turning the lights back on. Can you wait? And he's like, no, I want to take it on tour. Send me the old footage. But now, so that's a conversation in my mind where I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. And now fast forward to I'm making this project, the lights are coming back on. I'm in touch with Mickey about the project, and then I catch wind of the sphere. And so I'm like, hey, Mickey, I call Bill and Mickey, and I'm like, what's your plan for the sphere? I have this concept about your rhythm being the pulse or the heartbeat that turns the lights back on. And do you have a plan for the residency? And at that point, it was still very early conversations. He's like, no, I don't have my plan yet. Like he had some plans, obviously, but he's like, I like where you're headed with this. And so we went down that road, and Mickey came to Mammoth. I built this huge ice sculpture stage for him to play drums on. We jumped over him, and all of that was created specifically for, no, I shouldn't say specifically, it was created for my project, but very intentionally for the Sphere as well. So we had the whole Sphere team, their camera operators, which is a whole another beast within itself. Wow. They came out, filmed all this stuff for the Sphere, but it turns out their crazy technology and cameras don't do well in low light and in cold temps. So all the stuff we were working on for Mountains of the Moon ended up helping save, which is why it was all in those kaleidoscopic forms. So we worked with Treatment Studio, who did the whole show visually. Treatment is a fucking, they're so incredibly talented. Like there's a crew of people, but yeah, I worked with their producers. We turned it into this whole visual experience for drums, where it was actually Treatment was mixing it live every show. So every time Mickey hit a drum, things were reacting and changing and building, and all of that shit was happening different every show. So I was just continually providing footage. Like we started with the ski stuff, and then we ended up doing some climb stuff that we sent them, and then we had some jellyfish stuff that's in the film that we shot. And so my relationship with Treatment grew and built, and
yeah,
all the things just kept evolving in parallel with making the film. So it was kind of one was complementing the other. So there was actually nothing ever from Fire on the Mountain in the Sphere. It was all new created stuff.
I didn't realize that, because whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the ski movie. You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I mean, the wild thing, which was never my intention, but it's so humbling and such an honor, because caring about this band and their legacy and the level, the quality of their work and of their reputation and everything, like that's first and foremost on my list, is to respect what they've built and never take away from that, only help elevate it, right? And so it's like, as an artist, I want to offer new concepts, new ideas that help bring up the whole Grateful Dead machine, because I'm a believer. I'm a part of that community. I'm a Deadhead. I love their music, right? So it's like, however I can help make this bigger behemoth that they've created be like touch the lives of action sports, kind of spread its tentacles bigger than they would otherwise be spreading, right? Like I'm just
Yeah.
another piece of their amazing ecosystem. And I've been talking to David Lemieux with this project, who's their legacy manager and
Yeah.
archivist, and to hear him say that my first film and that what I've created and continue to create is part of their legacy was like the most humbling statement I've ever heard, because he sees people as a skier himself
Yeah,
that
he's a big skier.
may
Yeah.
not know about the music, may not know about other things the Dead are doing, but they've seen the Dead ski movie. Like it's like there's multiple topics. It's like, did you go to the Sphere? Did you do this? Have you seen Fire on the Mountain? There's like certain Deadhead topics, and that topic is high on the list, which I didn't realize, I guess, which is really incredible. And
That's the magical thing about the Dead, though, is that, like, there's just, it's not defined to one specific, the music is the music, and the community is not defined to one single archetype. It's a truly an ethos. When I went to one of the Dead 60 shows, there are all these like motorcycle like folks go, you know what I mean? Like just classic old school California. Just that's what the band is.
yeah, it's amazing.
Uh,
Spans generations too. It's like it's unbelievable.
like
I
almost
just
4 generations now.
yeah, I was joking. I mean, my child is his school photo. He's wearing a Grateful Dead shirt and he's 4
Of
years old.
course.
Yeah. It's like we just got those back the other day. I'm like, great choice of shirt, buddy. I'm proud of you.
But like it's funny because like, that picture, like that could be like a picture from 1970 too.
Exactly. Exactly.
On that note, you had a wonderful, wonderful anecdote on working with Mickey there. What have other kind of people in the Dead said, like about some of your work? Like, I always think it's interesting because obviously everybody has their own kind of point of view on things. Some are more spoken than others, but like, has Bob ever, acknowledged or, talked about it, or any of the other folks in
There's
the Dead world?
I haven't inserted myself into their world unauthentically. So when people
Yeah.
inquire or show true interest, then I'll engage, which that was Mickey. And
Yeah.
so I've had conversations with Bob and Natasha and family and met everyone and all the things, but it's like they're doing their thing, living in their world. I'm having and meeting these
Yeah.
people in their environments where they're playing a concert or doing their thing. So it's like
Totally.
I don't bring it up. And so there's not like anything ringing a bell of like someone asking more questions. But of course they knew about it. I mean, Bill was one of their best friends, and Bill so passionate about my film. And the band has to approve everything. Like
Of course.
they have their managers and all their things. So yes, they know about it, but I do not talk about my work to people. No, I more inquire about their lives.
When you were working with Bill on Fire on the Mountain, like obviously I haven't seen Mountains on the Moon, so I don't mean to keep talking about Fire on the Mountain, but I think it's good framing for Mountains of the Moon. When you were working with Bill, especially on the voiceover and the script, it's interesting because there's visuals, like it's very, very highly, highly visual, but there is like a narration that's happening there, and it's saying something very profound. Did Bill add some of his own Waltonism to it,
100%. Yeah.
to the copy?
Right. There was 3 versions. I wrote a version. I had professional writers, friends help me write a version, and then Bill wrote his own version. We recorded all 3, and then in the editing process, we kind of picked.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, Bill, 1000%. You can't put Bill in a box, and he knows every lyric and everything better than some of the band members themselves. Like he spoke in Grateful Dead lyrics, so it was like that needed to come through. And he saw the film before he wrote his version. I had sent him what I was thinking, and I didn't know, because I still don't know, but like Robert Hunter and John Perry Marlowe are writing these things. So when I wrote my versions, I'm not going to use their lyrics. You know what I mean? But Bill is a different story. He can say whatever the fuck he wants and use whatever he wants, because he's Bill Walton and he is personal friends with all their families and all the things. So it's like that was I guess part of me was hoping for that, was why I asked Bill, because I wanted it to be Bill. So, but he truly enjoyed some of the things I wrote about the natural world and some of those more profound things that were important undertones in the film. And so he mixed and matched on his own as well.
In Mountains of the Moon, besides the teaser that I saw, what are you the most excited for people to see?
That's a good question. I think I don't really care what people think about it because I know it's the Dead in general. People love it, the people hate it. It's like it is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's
My
licorice.
artwork, I'm not creating this for anyone other than myself. And so there's a side of me that is just like having to have these things flow through me and work through this process for what's true to me as a human. And so I dive super deep into mycology. Like our new narrator, Paul Stamets, is he's changed my life. Like his studies on mushrooms and
Yeah.
how much he's dedicated to the world of mycology and healing brains and cancer and
Uh,
everything that he's done changed my life. And it did like a decade ago, right? So I've known about Paul, and then I end up meeting Paul through Bill and other things down the road, but he happens to be a huge Deadhead, go figure. So that like side of Paul's science and education, and the fact that he said yes and was excited, and we didn't just say yes, he was like passionate about this project in the same way that Bill was passionate about the first one. Like that is huge. I don't even know how to quantify, not quantify, but put words to the impact that he's had on my life, that my artwork is speaking to someone like that enough for him to get involved. Like
that's
that's
amazing.
amazing. And then you take Mickey Hart coming to Mammoth, and like we put together Drums in Space in the film from Egypt in the 80s, sent it to him. He's like, nope, this needs more. Like, I need to touch this sonically. So he completely scored a whole new drums track. Like, in what world am I going to make a film where Mickey Hart's going to score a track for us? Like,
That's so
that's like up here, like all these things that have happened around this project is in a world beyond words. Like I don't have the words to communicate the importance of this project to me and what I believe to be the important things in life, whether it's the natural world or mycology or music or art or sport or all of these things that the film represents. I mean, the whole project is just the fact that I am this close to the finish line and we didn't trip over the finish line is unbelievable, because we had every reason and every hurdle imaginable for me to just face plant and give up. And I mean, every part of my life has suffered from this project in the ways of like, it was so intense. My wife showed up in such a huge way, picking up the slack with my family and my kids. Like I was so immersed, and I was having to face these really big life things that I am a crazy artist, and I like the shit is that important to me that I will sacrifice health and everything to make something I truly believe in. So it's
yeah.
that it's a lot happened over the last few years, basically.
One last heavy question here. You're exploring some really deep themes about, which is what it is to be human, set against kind of human accomplishment and like, the natural world and everything. And that's so cool that you have Paul talking about it. I've seen a number of Paul's interviews. He's amazing to listen to. What do you want people to walk away with whenever the film ends, whether an ethos or, something to keep close to mind?
That's a good question. I guess I should know this answer off the top of my head. I would say I want them to feel something. I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel a sense of community. I want them to recognize the importance of culture and art and all of these things. Like in this day and age, our world is wildly complex in the worst ways and the best ways, right? And so I just think as an artist, I hope how I'm able to express myself and that I'm fortunate enough to be able to express myself, that it leaves an impact on people. I hope, the people that do love it, love it. The people that hate it, hate it. And that polarizing side of it is important to me too. Like I want art to be an important part of my ecosystem and my community and my culture and everything that I've grown up in. And I just, yeah, I hope people feel empowered, inspired, and all the different
Nice. Ready to put something in the world. Dude, this is awesome. Chris, thank you so much for the time. I have a gazillion other things I could chat to you about. The one thing I was thinking, like your fishing collab with Sims is super cool. Do you know a guy in the Eastern Sierra, Matt Kuma, by chance? He's a fishing guy, fly fishing guy that I think he grew up in Bishop.
Well, I'm sure then the one thing you have to forgive me is which is how I found Paul ultimately, is my brain, my memory isn't the greatest. And I know a lot of faces better than I know names. So it was a very small community. If he grew up in Bishop, my brother was a fly fishing guide and is part of the film.
Oh, there you go. Oh, fishing's in the film?
And there is fishing in the film, yeah. There's a whole deep dive into red light, and a lot of Andrew Huberman's studies. I kind of am a firm believer in some of the things that he puts out in the world of staring at the morning sun and all that stuff. So the whole film, since you said this isn't coming out, I mean, basically the whole film starts at sunset, and then we go through this whole avalanche sequence that represents the Big Bang, and we go into the darkness for the rest of the film. We go through the seasons, we go through the cycle of life, plant, animals, ecosystem, all of that, and we come out at sunrise on the river, and just like the salmon feeding the bears, which then they're feeding the old growth, which then goes back. Like, just, we tried to capture the entire ecosystem, the cycle of water, the cycle, all of it baked into this one film. So there's a lot of deeper concepts that will be like, I'm not hitting anyone over the head with it, because that's the whole point of art, is like it either resonates with people or it doesn't, and people will pick up on it or they won't. So
that's awesome.
The closing segment, we end at sunrise. It can have a short-term life cycle if you want it to, the film. Like, we started at sunset, went through the night, and came out at sunrise, but we obviously go through a much bigger time frame and seasons and sports and all the things. So
positioning it just as a snow sports like movie in a way is like disingenuous, because it's so much more.
Very disingenuous. Yeah, there's the climbing, there's biking, there's surfing, there's free diving, there's fishing.
Yeah. There's something for everyone.
Yeah. All of those sports have shaped me as a human, like I said, and I'm the type of person that is doing this for my ego. So I'm not going to go be like, oh, I'm the surfer, I'm the skier, I'm the snowboarder, I'm the climber. Even though I do all of those at whatever level I do them at, it's far more important for me to highlight the masters of those individual sports and use those as the ultimate way to translate, because us as athletes are riding the pulse of the universe, and that's kind of going back to the whole rhythm and Mickey and music. It's like tapping into something much bigger, and how this whole planet is working, how trees are breathing, giving oxygen, like everything Paul believes, and how everything is connected on a mycelium level. Like, all of that is encapsulated in the film, and it wouldn't have the same impact if I just made this like, yes, it's my art. Yes, it's my beliefs. Yes, it's my film. But if I made it about me doing those sports, it would just not be as impactful. It's so much more important to me to step back. Even though I ski in it, I'm still directing, and I'm trying to elevate and push other amazing skiers out there and other snowboarders and other everything, so.
Amazing. One last question. What's your top sheet art for your Atomic collab this year?
A piece that will be at the exhibition in Santa Monica that will be coming up.
All right.
And then since you're a fan of the Grateful Dead, or I think, are you a fan of the Grateful Dead? I guess you know that.
I went to Dead 60, the Sunday show. Trey. Oh, so awesome. Yeah.
It was pretty special. Yeah. But yeah, so I have a 110 coming out with the Grateful Dead and other products and things.
That's awesome.
They'll all be coming out here real soon, but they'll be visible at the exhibition. And that's the thing with LA. It's like, it's not just a premiere. It's like, I made a coffee table book I made to highlight all the photographers. I tried to get, like I said, best camera operators, best photographers, best artists that I knew. And I collaborated on some paintings with Mickey Hart that'll be in the show. And Mickey painted his drum heads with UV reactive paint for the thing. And like, we've covered every single base that is important to
Amazing.
my existence on this planet.
That is so special. Well, congratulations. Super stoked for the ramp up and rollout here on your end. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for the time. And hopefully, if you have other questions that pop up, hit me.
I hope I can make it to the Santa Monica thing. I look forward to hollering at you in person.
That'd be great.
Cool.
All
See you.
righty.
Thanks so much, Eric. Have a great weekend.